Okay, coming up in this fight for USFFC 28, you don't want to miss this one. Usher Dickens out of Easley, South Carolina, takes on Jordan Chambers Blair out of Charlotte.
Two tough guys kicking off a great night of fights.
Coming right up.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, your first of the night, three-minute rounds in the lightweight division. Introducing first the fighter on my left, fighting out of the blue corner. He made weight at 155 pounds with a record of 1 win and 2 defeats. Fighting out of the UFC gym, Charlotte, North Carolina, Jordan Chambers Blair. And now his opponent, standing across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. Also making weight at 155 pounds. His record 0 wins, 4 defeats. Fighting out of Goons Academy, Easley, South Carolina, Usher, the Truth Dickens. Your referee when the action begins, Blake Grice.
All right, we are about to be underway. The first bout of the evening here at USFFC 28 Dissension. Referee Blake Grice getting the fighters in the appropriate position.
Blake Grice is a man that's been around the block here in the sport of mixed martial arts. He's been all over the world as a referee, one of the top, of course, refereed for the Ultimate Fighting Championship, among others, but that's really the top of the heap.
And here we go. Jordan Chambers Blair wasting no time getting right in the face of his opponent, Usher Dickens.
Look at that reach of Blair.
Mean punches coming from Blair. Knees Usher Dickens in trouble already in the opening seconds of this matchup.
Closing the distance there. Beautiful knee by Jordan Chambers Blair. Usher Dickens, known as a wrestler by trade.
Tell you what, Casey, man, Jordan Chambers Blair wasted 0 time running across that octagon and swarming his opponent, letting Dickens know that he's in for a fight right away.
Well, he looks like he is 2 weight divisions higher than Usher Dickens. Dickens looked for a throw there. It did not pan out for him. He is underneath mount in a tough spot here. He's going to have to work hard to escape this position.
Yeah, you see Usher Dickens trying desperately to, keep the distance close. And now, what a great maneuver back to the top. I mean, almost a sweep, but actually just a maneuver back to his feet. Got a single leg, and he drives forward
into crossbody position. Excellent position for Usher Dickens. This is where he needs to keep the fight because Jordan Chambers Blair, he seems to have too much range and may be just too athletic on the feet for Usher Dickens.
Well, Casey, I mean, think about it. Like 10 seconds ago, Usher Dickens was in the mount of Jordan Chambers Blair, right? And that's bad, and now he's inside mount. So what a great reversal. What looked like a pretty bad spot for Usher Dickens now is in a good spot, driving these and his opponent up against the cage.
Well, the opening moments of a mixed martial arts bout is really, is the most crucial because so many things can happen. You're at your peak as far as your punching power, your striking power, your ability to hit those takedowns and push through in the wrestling area. You're at your peak. So it is, this is a very crucial moment. We're seeing Usher Dickens rise to the occasion here.
Usher Dickens looked like he's maybe trying to slide the knee over to take the mount position. Jordan Chambers Blair doing a good job blocking that with the up knee.
Now Usher Dickens, he needs to watch getting too close to the cage there, putting his body between Chambers Blair and himself because it's going to make it difficult if Blair attempts to lateral for Usher Dickens to maintain his posture.
There, I was waiting for Blair to try to make a move with his hips. He did it. Out from underneath side mount, and now back to his feet. 2 hooks miss.
Blair with his hands down by his waist, obviously confident in his striking. Usher Dickens doing what it takes here, shooting in, beautiful single leg.
I tell you what, man, it looked like Chambers Blair had a good sprawl stuff on the takedown there, but Dickens doing a great job of walking the leg over, trapping it, preventing Blair from backing up, and now back on top.
And I like the half guard position here by Usher Dickens. Makes it a little more difficult for Blair to escape. I think Dickens stole it right there. Now this is the thing, you know how it is when it comes to the wrestling and the takedowns. It expends a lot of energy. Now Usher seems to be be able to complete these takedowns without expending too much energy. But the longer it goes into the fight, it's going to go into the advantage of Jordan Chambers Blair.
And that takedown came easily for Usher Dickens, except swept by Jordan Chambers Blair. What a good toss.
Yeah, but Usher Dickens doing what he needs to do there. Beautiful wrestling. And he completes a takedown into the guard of Jordan Chambers Blair.
Yeah, we're seeing, a wrestling clinic put on Jordan Chambers Blair so far. He just does not seem to be able to sprawl the takedowns from Usher Dickens.
Yeah, excellent position here by Usher Dickens inside the guard of Chambers Blair. If I'm him, I'm going to stay there as long as I can. Just remain active because as soon as he goes to pass, the long, lanky frame of Chambers Blair may allow him to scramble and get back to the feet. We saw it in round one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to think that Jordan Chambers Blair really wants to get this fight back to the feet where he has the size, reach, height advantage. But so far, Usher Dickens doing a great job of dictating where this fight goes. Striking doesn't do much for you if you are on your back.
No, and of course, inside the guard, you always have to look out for the submissions. But up until now, we've seen none of that out of Jordan Chambers Blair.
No.
It appears he's content to close the guard and hold on.
Now
beautiful sweep
there.
That
was a great sweep.
And just like that, he is on the back of Usher Dickens.
Great sweep there from Jordan Chambers Blair. He seems to be picking his spots very fortuitously as far as when to really power his hips out of these positions.
Yeah, but look at Usher Dickens. Very good to continue that scramble. It looks as though he may be caught in a guillotine choke. How deep, we do not yet know.
It looks deep from this angle, but Dickens appears to be okay, trying to base up and get some space in there to breathe.
Right. And it can go both ways. If it's tight, it can wear on Usher Dickens. But at the same time, Chambers Blair, he can burn out those biceps if he continues to pull on a guillotine choke that isn't there.
You got to make a choice. You have to kind of determine how deep you have it. Is it going to potentially put your guy out? And if not, sometimes you got to let go. And he does.
Nearing the 30 seconds left here in round two. In my estimation, I've got Usher Dickens up 2 rounds to nothing. And then the first round could have been scored either way by some judges, but in my estimation, Usher is up. Jordan Chambers Blair definitely is going to need to go into this third round hot and heavy.
And Jordan Blair, came firing out of the gate pretty quick, but now that he has learned to respect the takedown ability of Usher Dickens, he's fighting a more poised game.
Here we go,
now,
big attack here in the closing seconds.
Leather flying from Jordan Blair, doesn't catch its mark, but Usher Dickens almost finishes a takedown there at the end. And all right, round 3 underway. Can Jordan Chambers Blair turn the heat on and turn this around in the third round? Because the first 2 rounds have been a struggle. Can he stop the takedowns from Usher Dickens?
Usher closing the distance, landing a stiff right hand. Jordan Chambers Blair, he's still pawing out there. It doesn't seem like he's has any urgency to get the job done. Usher finding his opening here.
And I think Blair's going right back down to his back.
Yeah, I believe so as well. Back into the closed guard, this time out in the center of the cage.
You have a southpaw fighting an orthodox, and it's almost like every time that Blair fires that left straight down the pipe, Dickens is waiting for it, using that as his opportunity to counter and go in for the takedown, and so far it's worked great.
Yeah, and it seems as though Usher has gotten more confident in his striking as the fight has progressed, almost as though Chambers Blair has slowed down enough, that we talked about it right there in the opening moments of round 1. It's very, very dangerous. You don't know what the power of your opponent really is. Now Usher Dickens seems to be confident in what he's doing and in solid control of this bout.
When you have a competitor that has proven his ability to take you down, it changes the way you throw punches and kicks. I mean, you start to do things like minor little hesitations before you throw. You start to plant your feet differently. It changes everything. It takes you off your rhythm knowing that you are threatened by the takedown.
Right, but this type of decision here by the referee can be a game changer. Usher Dickens worked very hard to get that takedown. He's back on the feet. Took a hard teep straight kick to the solar plexus there. And now Dickens, he's not playing around. He just pushes straight in, driving Chambers Blair to the cage.
Yeah, he just drove right in, didn't really even change levels, just kind of came forward and now has Jordan Chambers Blair up against the cage trying to secure a hand behind a knee so that he can get, ooh, that looked like a close one.
Again, it doesn't appear as though Jordan Chambers Blair is tired or gassing or anything, but he just doesn't seem to have that sense of urgency that I would expect out of a fighter that is down 2 rounds.
Well, props to Usher Dickens for being able to really, get the takedowns when he's needed to get them. And although he's not getting it right now, he's stopping Jordan Blair from doing much work.
There we go.
Well, there's some good hammer fists right there for sure. And if Jordan Blair can, stay on his feet and get some damage done here, like he is, that could be a case for him to take this round 3 and run away with it.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, we had one takedown by Usher Dickens there early in the first round. I don't think that Chambers Blair has done enough to change anything. I think it's going to be 30-27 Usher Dickens.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, after 3 hard-fought rounds, we go to the judges' scorecard for the decision. The judges score this fight 29-28 Chambers Blair, 29-28 Dickens, and 29-28 for your winner by split decision, the fighter fighting out of the red corner, Usher the Truth Dickens.
Usher the Truth Dickens with a big win here. I had it going his way. The judges actually had it split, a split decision.